They didn't even say my name, just a cold folder, a 12 o'clock deadline, and 3 sets of eyes from HR that looked like they were reading my death certificate. Return everything by noon, Cynthia from HR said, like she was asking me to empty a hotel minibar, not erasing nearly a decade of my life. It was 10 o'clock a.m. when the Outlook ping hit my screen. Urgent, transition conversation. No context, no agenda, just a sterile bullet of corporate betrayal. I knew. Not because they told me, no, the writing was already there. In missing calendar invites. In quiet reassignments. In how Miles, the new regional VP, kept accidentally taking credit for my work like it was a sport. And now here he was, leaning against the wall with that smug, cologne-soaked smile like he just won something. "Samantha, you're being transitioned out of Vantage, effective immediately," Cynthia said flatly. "No thank you." No mention of the satellite office I built from dirt and blueprints. Just, return your laptop, badge, and car keys. By noon, Miles didn't say a word, just watched. Like he expected me to crack, to scream, to throw the chair through the window. But I didn't. I just looked up and said, "Understood." And right then, I saw it, that twitch of surprise in his jaw. Like he'd just played his ace and I didn't even blink. Because what Miles didn't know, he wasn't even playing the right game. Quick pause. Have you ever been blindsided at work? Drop your city in the comments, and if you're feeling this story, smash that like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. Now, back to the storm. By 10:06, my email was gone. Slack channels dark. My name erased from the building directory. I moved slow, deliberate, like I was packing evidence, not office supplies. Took the mug that said, "Don't talk to me until Q3 ends." Unpinned the photo of my dog in sunglasses. Dropped my cactus, wilted and dramatic, into the box like I was lowering it into a grave. But then I unlocked the bottom right drawer. The one nobody ever touched, pulled out a thin black folder. Leather, no label, no logo. And I slid it into my coat pocket without a word. Miles passed by, peeking through the glass like he expected me to cry. I smiled instead, the kind of smile that says, "You just made the biggest mistake of your career." By 11:58 a.m., I handed over my badge and keys. By 12:01, I was nobody, but I didn't walk out empty-handed. I walked out owning something they never even thought to check. I didn't even look back. The security guard buzzed me out like I was radioactive, like I might infect the building if I breathed too hard on the walls. But I didn't feel like I was leaving. I felt like I was walking toward something, because inside that coat pocket was the reason Miles should have checked twice before smirking. 3 years ago, Vantage was in chaos. The Dallas lease was collapsing, the execs were panicking, and we were about to lose the Westlake site to a yogurt emporium and 12 stray cats squatting under a rotted hot dog cart. Legal couldn't move fast enough. Compliance kept choking on subclause 14B, and I was just trying to keep our clients from walking. So I did what I always do. I fixed the damn problem. I created an LLC, Westridge Holdings, filed it under my cousin's accounting firm, signed the lease myself, not as Samantha Ellis, employee of Vantage, as Samantha Ellis, leaseholder, and the kicker, I told them. I sent emails. I highlighted the urgency. I flagged the lease assignment reminder to Miles 427 days ago. You know what he did? Nothing. No follow-up, no reassignment, no legal transfer. They just kept operating out of that building like it was theirs. But it wasn't. It was mine. Every vendor, every maintenance contract, every key card reader still ran through Westridge Holdings. And when they walked me out like a disposable printer cartridge, they didn't just fire me. They fired their landlord. That night, I sat on my couch in sweatpants, halfway through a box of Chinese takeout, flipping through that black folder like it was a magic trick. Every signature, every clause, still active, still binding. And it hit me, they erased me, but forgot to evict me. By 7:08 the next morning, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, Virginia area code. Corporate HQ, I let it go to voicemail. They called back 2 minutes later. "Samantha Ellis," the voice was nervous, legal nervous. "This is Jeremy Chen from corporate legal. We appear to have a situation regarding the Westlake lease." I sipped my coffee. "Oh, Jeremy," I said, cool as a lake in winter. "There's always time for legal." He danced around the problem for a few minutes before finally choking it out. "The lease isn't under Vantage's name. It's under Westridge Holdings, which you own. Correct, I replied, flipping to the page with my signature. Silence. Are you the sole member? Managing partner, leaseholder, point of contact, and vendor control. Happy to send the PDF. Jeremy audibly swallowed his soul. We weren't aware this wasn't fully documented on our end. That's strange, I said. I have receipts, literally. And I did, emails, memos, attachments. One even sent to Miles, titled Outstanding Documentation, Lease Assignment. Ignored. Because reading isn't sexy when you're too busy staging your next LinkedIn victory post. Jeremy tried to play calm, but I could hear the panic behind the keyboard clicks. We'd like to understand your intentions, he finally said. There's already been some complications this morning. I smiled into the phone. Complications? Oh dear. Exclamation mark, you still with me? What would you do if your old company begged for access? Would you take the payout or let 'em sweat? Drop your answer in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe. The revenge is just warming up. By 7:30 a.m., my phone buzzed again. It was Kelsey, my old assistant, texting from her personal number. Do you know why we can't get into the Westlake file server? VPN's tied to the building IP, it's saying access denied. Oh, sweetheart, because I assigned that IP address. And they never changed it, because they never bothered to ask. By 8:13 a.m., the internal fire alarms were metaphorically ringing. Emails started hemorrhaging with subject lines like, Urgent, badge access not working, Westlake site. Escalation. Facilities can't override security. Vendor lockouts who has override credentials. Guess who had the answers? Not HR, not legal, not Miles, me. A vendor called Chuck, cheerful guy, ran building security, rang my cell directly. Hey Samantha, just confirming you still want us in lockdown mode. Absolutely, I said. Building is private property until otherwise arranged. He chuckled like I'd just asked him to water the plants. Roger that. 8:32 a.m., Karen from Roastworks Mobile Brew texted me. Hey girl, we're locked out. They didn't pay the last invoice. You still want delivery? I told her to hold for 48 hours. She sent back a thumbs up and a dumpster fire gif captioned, Mondays, am I right? By 9 o'clock a.m., panic was full-blown. Facilities couldn't get into the server room, the lock override code was outdated. It tried using a standard reset, didn't work. Because 2 years ago, after a minor break-in, I changed the override. Never told them. Why would I? They never asked. Miles showed up around 9:15 looking like a walking HR liability in a North Face jacket and expensive loafers. Tried to badge in. Denied. Tried again. Denied. Eventually, he just stood outside, red in the face, talking to someone on his phone like he was canceling a yacht party. By 10:06, someone finally cracked. I got a signal DM from Derek in facilities. Hey, please tell me you don't actually own the building. Like the whole thing? I let him stew in that for 10 minutes before I replied. Wouldn't say I own it, just heavily influence its functionality. He replied with a single gif, Nicolas Cage lighting a match over gasoline. HR had to rent a room off-site for their morning meeting. Because, their office was locked. Jeremy from legal emailed again, can you confirm if Westridge Holdings is enforcing restrictions? I replied at 10:45. Happy to discuss. Please send an agenda and attendee list. I'll be bringing representation. He responded with a 3:00 p.m. meeting invite. I said, perfect. Bring copies of the lease. You'll want to follow along. By 11 o'clock, the company finally sent a mass email. Due to unforeseen technical difficulties, all Westlake employees should work from home. Unforeseen. That's code for. We didn't read the lease and now we're locked out by the woman we just fired. At 12:47 p.m., an email slid into my inbox like a drunk ex trying to get back together. From Miles Holbrook, subject. Touching base, body. Hey Samantha, any chance we could grab a quick coffee and clear the air? I think there's a path forward that works for everyone. No hard feelings. Oh Miles, you're trying to fix a demolition with espresso. I waited 23 minutes, then replied. I'm available at 3:00 p.m. My counsel will be joining. Please provide meeting location and any materials in advance. He replied, let's keep it informal. No need for lawyers. Didn't reply. Silence was part of the show. At 2:58 p.m., I walked into a downtown parking space. Same one we used to interview temps. Cucumber water, polished floors. Soundproofed enough to scream. Miles was already there, pretending to be casual. I said nothing. My attorney, Diane Kaplan, walked in behind me, gray blazer, no nonsense. She unzipped her leather binder like it contained the last rites. "Samantha," Miles said, arms wide like I was his cousin at a family barbecue. "No reason we can't be civil, right?" He slid a manila envelope across the table. A low six-figure buyout offer, pre-tax. I didn't even touch it. Diane pulled out the original lease, flipped to page 9, clause IV. Early termination requires 180-day payout at $24,800 per month, plus 22% administrative penalty plus transition fees. She laid it in front of him. "Assuming," she said calmly, "Miss Ellis is even interested in transferring ownership." Miles blinked. "We weren't aware of the penalty clause." I leaned in. "You signed the lease, Miles." He went pale. The moment Diane zipped her binder shut, the meeting was over. Miles tried to recover, fumbling with half-finished thoughts and open palms like he was surrendering to a parking ticket. "Look, we don't have to get legalistic," he said, sweating through his shirt. "What do you really want?" Wrong question. I stood up, smoothed my coat, slid the lease back into my bag like I was sealing a holy document. "You should read your emails, Miles. Especially the one where I warned you." Outside, the wind picked up as if on cue. By the time I got back to my apartment, a new email hit my inbox, from Jeremy at Legal. "We'd like to reopen discussions. Executive leadership will be present. Are you available tomorrow?" I didn't reply. Not yet. Let them sweat. By 7:16 the next morning, I had 5 missed calls and 3 voicemails. And then it dropped, the first real crack in the dam. A leaked internal memo, mysteriously forwarded to me from an anonymous email. Truthsprinkler@protonmail.com subject. Urgent leaseholder conflict. Westlake Hub's 6 pages of panic. A highlight reel of corporate negligence. Lease signed under incomplete legal review. No formal reassignment. Vendor contracts routed through Westridge Holdings. Building access under external control. Legal exposure. High and right at the top. Who approved this lease? The answer, Miles Holbrook. And now everyone knew it. By 8 a.m., the board had scheduled an emergency video session. Not with me, with Diane. They didn't invite me. They summoned my attorney. Because now I wasn't the problem. I was the solution. More leaks followed. Facilities confirmed. The Vantage signage out front was filed under naming rights owned by Westridge Holdings. The monument sign. Paid through an enhancement package I built and routed through my LLC. Even the guy who installed the exit signs. Paid via my QuickBooks dashboard. This wasn't just a rogue lease. This was a foundation built under my name. They'd been sitting in my house for 3 years. And Miles. He handed them the keys and told them they owned it. At 9:03 a.m., an unexpected email hit my inbox. From Ruth Caldwell, SVP, Strategy and Oversight Subject. Request for discussion, Westlake Operations. Miss Ellis, I understand there's been significant confusion around the Westlake site's leasing and operational framework. I'd appreciate the opportunity to speak with you directly. Please let me know your availability this week. Ruth Caldwell, 10 floors above the rest of us, too high up to know your name unless you mattered. Now she wanted a call. I didn't respond. I forwarded it to Diane. Your move, because this wasn't about justice anymore. This was about control. At 10:17 a.m., another memo hit internal LinkedIn, visible only to employees, not public but enough. Effective immediately, Mr. Miles Holbrook will be stepping away from regional oversight duties pending internal review. Translation: They found the smoking gun, and it's wearing a $600 watch and too much cologne. Apparently, the final nail was an old email chain. Me, legal, facilities, and Miles, me, please confirm that leaseholder entity remains Westridge Holdings until reassigned. Miles, looks good, thanks for moving fast. Signing now. No review, no questions, he just signed it. Probably with the same pen he used to sign my termination. By noon, the board was split, one half furious, the other terrified, and me. I was sitting on my patio, drinking iced tea, watching the inbox light up. One VP wanted a call. Another from legal offered to fly me to HQ. Cute. 3 days ago, I was a nobody. Now, I was the only one holding the keys. Thursday morning, they stopped pretending. No more casual emails. No more just coffee invites. At 8:41 am sharp, a name popped into my inbox I'd never seen before, but I knew exactly what it meant. Bridget Langley, EVP Corporate Strategy. Subject: West Holdings urgent resolution. Her message was short, sharp, surgical. Miss Ellis, we understand Westridge Holdings retains critical control of the Westlake facility and associated infrastructure. Vantage would like to formally acquire full ownership of the lease and vendor contracts to ensure long-term stability. I'd like to speak with you directly. Please advise on availability today. Regards, Bridget Langley, EVP, Corporate Strategy, Vantage & Co. No pleasantries. No smiles. No HR warm fuzzies. Just the business end of a corporate white flag. Diane and I met over coffee. She tapped the screen with her red pen. This is the cleanup crew, she said. Legal is radioactive, HR's hiding, and Bridget's here to buy the fire extinguisher you're holding. We agreed to a call at noon. Audio only. No small talk, no games. Bridget got straight to it. Miss Ellis, what would it take to secure full acquisition of Westridge Holdings today? Like she was placing an order off a menu. But I wasn't the waitress. I was the chef. And this was my kitchen. I laid it out clean. 1. Full acquisition of Westridge Holdings, including all rights, naming, and contracts. 2 3 years of performance-based bonus compensation matched to executive payout levels. 3. A signed statement from the board acknowledging me as the foundational architect of Westlake Hub operations, to be stored in internal records and held on file with my counsel. 4. Optional 60-day consulting retainer on my terms if I chose to activate. Silence, not pushback, not negotiation, just understood. She knew, they all knew. This wasn't just about getting back into a building. This was about saving face, saving jobs, and stopping the bleeding. By 3:45 p.m., the draft agreement hit Diane's inbox. They didn't lowball. They didn't hedge. They paid. In a separate PDF, the board's signed statement. Samantha Ellis was the foundational strategist responsible for the development and operational continuity of the Vantage Westlake Expansion Hub. All associated infrastructure and vendor alignment originated under her direction and through her entity, Westridge Holdings. Not flowery, not flattering, but official, permanent, irrevocable. Proof that I hadn't just occupied a seat at the table. I built the damn table. By 5:00 p.m., the wire room buzzed with fluorescent stillness. Diane and I sat across from a tired banker with fingers that flew across the keyboard like a piano concerto. He turned the screen. 6 figures, board approved, neatly delivered into my account like a quiet apology from people who thought I'd just disappear. Diane nodded. Funds transferred. It should have felt like victory. But really, it felt like stillness, like the splinter had been pulled. No pain, just peace. Then came the courier, clipboard, Vantage badge, eyes like he was delivering flowers to a funeral. Inside the folder. Final signed buyout packet, clean legal trail statement of recognition. And one final sheet, a thick stock page signed by every major division head. I read it twice. At the bottom, my name. We acknowledge Samantha Ellis. They could strip me from the building, but they couldn't erase me from the foundation. Outside, the air was crisp. Fall had come to Texas. Diane and I walked past the Westlake Hub one last time. The signs were new. The banners reprinted. The building buzzed again. Inside the glass lobby, a fresh recruitment poster sparkled behind a pane of hope. Big bold letters. Catchy corporate slogan. And in the middle, a quote, my quote. Don't just build for today, build like someone will inherit your legacy tomorrow. No name, no credit, just words borrowed from a ghost they thought they could forget. But that ghost, she cashed their checks. She held the lease. She built the house, and when they tried to burn it down, she sold them the shovel. Clapper board if you've ever been underestimated or fired by someone who didn't know what you were worth. Drop a fire in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around. We've got more stories where this came from. See you next time.